The first season of Star Trek Picard has reached its epic conclusion, as did Picard himself, at least temporarily. From a familiar catchphrase to a surprisingly sentimental musical callback, here are all the Easter eggs and references you may have missed in Picard's season finale Et in Arcadia Ego Part 2. After hinting at it all season, Narek finally reveals the full myth that has motivated the Zhat-Vash for generations, the story of Ganmadan. It tells the ancient tale of demon twin sisters who opened a crack in the sky and rained down destruction upon the living. The tale of Ganmadan is told to the enthralled crew of La Sirena around a campfire at night, which is reminiscent of another time on Star Trek that ancient stories were told around a campfire. In the Next Generation episode Darmok, Picard finds himself stranded on a planet with the captain of an alien race who communicates solely through stories. During one scene around a campfire, Picard draws parallels between the alien's captain's stories of Darmok Angelad at Tanagra to the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh, a king at Uruk.
At the end of Darmok, the alien captain dies, but considers his sacrifice worthwhile since he was able to establish meaningful communication with Picard and the Federation. It's similar to how Picard accelerates his own death at the end of Picard's season finale, in the hopes that he might be able to convince the Federation, the Romulans, and the synthetics to finally listen to one another. We've heard a lot of familiar phrases from Picard's tenure aboard the Enterprise during the course of Picard's first season.
Tea, Earl Grey, decaf.
However, one of the former captain's most well-known catchphrases has been notably absent.
Make it so. Make it so. That's it, make it so.
However, we do finally get to hear someone say, "Make it so," in Et en Arcadia Ego Part 2. But it's not Picard, it's Agnes. While we've had no shortage of other verbal callbacks in Picard, it was impossible not to wonder if Picard would ever utter his own best-known command. But although we're still waiting to hear "Make it so" from Picard's own lips, there was something soothing about finally getting to hear it from someone. As Seven of Nine and Narissa fight on the crashed Borg cube, Narissa taunts Seven with the memory of her assimilation, saying,
"Sad Queen Annika. 6 years old and all she got for her birthday was assimilated."
The taunt calls back to the Star Trek Voyager episode The Raven, in which Seven processes the trauma of her assimilation. During that episode, she recounts the day the Borg attacked her family ship, telling Tuvok that her birthday cake had 6 candles on it, plus 1 to grow on. It's a difficult memory for Seven to face, but she still refuses to let the Romulan get the best of her, sending Narissa to her supposed death. The season finale of Star Trek Picard references the classic Picard maneuver by name when Picard and Agnes find themselves facing off against the Romulan fleet. Desperate, Agnes asks Picard to come up with a brilliant plan before realizing that she can use the synthetic tool Rios acquired on Coppelius to execute a new form of the Picard maneuver. The Picard Maneuver 2.0 involves using synthetic technology to replicate hundreds of La Sirenas in order to trick the Romulans into thinking the opposing fleet has already arrived. Of course, only the original La Sirena is real, and once the Romulans hit it with their phasers, the illusion falters. Still, it buys them enough time for the real reinforcements from Starfleet to arrive, saving the day. Only time will tell if Agnes's tactic does indeed get recorded in the Federation history books as a new iteration of the Picard maneuver, or whether we may have just witnessed the first ever use of the Jurati maneuver. When Riker shows up at Coppelius in Et in Arcadia Ego Part 2, leading the Federation fleet, the flagship he commands is named the Zheng He. This ship is almost certainly named for Zheng He, a Chinese explorer and diplomat during the early Ming Dynasty. However, there has actually been a Zheng He once before in Star Trek history, though not in any of the shows or movies. The Zheng He appears in the Star Trek Online video game as a science vessel which gets attacked by Gorn forces while on a research mission. Although Riker brings what looks like every ship in the Federation with him in Et in Arcadia Ego Part 2, he only needs to show the Romulans that he means business when he holds them accountable to the Treaty of Algeron. The Treaty of Algeron dates back to the year 2311. It's the agreement that defined the Romulan neutral zone, prohibited the Federation from developing their own cloaking technology, and classified any violations of the neutral zone as an act of war. Riker's own former commander violated the Treaty of Algeron in the Next Generation episode The Pegasus, in which they were both arrested for developing an illegal cloaking device. When Picard briefly joins Data in his afterlife simulation before being transferred to his new synthetic body, Data asks a favor from his former captain. When Picard wakes up, Data would like him to terminate his consciousness, not because he wants to die, but because he thinks that by knowing his existence is finite, he may finally be able to truly live. In Data's final moments as Picard shuts down the simulation, he listens to Blue Skies, which also opened Picard's first episode. This time it's sung by Issa Briones, the actor who plays Soji, Daj, and Sutra. In Star Trek Nemesis, Data performs the song for his colleagues, so it's only fitting that his daughter would sing it over him as he dies. Picard also bids farewell to Data with a quote from Shakespeare's The Tempest. "We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep." In the play, this is a line said by Prospero, a character that Data himself played in the Next Generation episode, Emergence.
I am not certain I fully understand this Prospero character. I would appreciate any insight you might have that would improve my performance.
Picard explains how hopefulness helps balance out the tragedy in the character. When Data dies for good in Picard, those elements are both present again. Since his death was unquestionably sad, but carried with it Data's hope of finally experiencing what it is to be human. The closing moments of Et in Arcadia Ego Part 2 show what appears to be a pile of metal shards sitting on a table between Seven and Rafi. This is actually a Vulcan game of logic and strategy known as Kal-toh, in which the object is to turn the seemingly random rods into a perfect sphere.
Vulcan Kal-toh.
For a game of logic, you'd be surprised at how addictive it is.
Kal-toh was a frequent pastime for Tuvok on Voyager, which he tended to play with Harry Kim and Icheb, although it was also possible to play Kal-toh alone. Kim was never able to beat Tuvok despite numerous attempts, but 7 of 9 managed to beat him in a single move.
Impressive.
Elementary spatial harmonics.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about Star Trek are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.